Hi everyone, welcome to today's firmware release webinar for version 1.16.2. My name is Ari Trigger and let's get started. I want to quickly highlight a new feature that's actually going to make your life and your customers' lives a whole lot easier. DDA Analytics configuration is now available directly in our Cam2 application. This means there's actually no need to connect to a PC. There's no extra tools required. Literally just open your phone and you can set up AI rules like line crossing in sterile area on the spot. You can adjust parameters, set schedules. You can choose what type of object you want to detect, being human for two-wheel vehicles, and you can even define trigger actions all within the application. This is obviously a massive advantage while you're on site with a client. It makes demos a lot smoother. It can speed up your installations. It just shows also how user-friendly and powerful our system really is. I want you to take a look at how it actually works, and so you can start showing it off at your next meeting and to your colleagues. And 1 second, I just want to put it a bit softer. I'm going to start showing you where to find the DDA configuration within the Cam2 app. And you can do this by clicking on the menu button on the top left corner, go to the remote settings, and then we can begin by selecting your NVR. While we're here, as a side note, if you didn't know already, the Cam2 app lets you access a wide range of NVR settings, not just the analytics I'm about to show you. So you can change camera names, you can add cameras, you can adjust recording settings, you can update IP addresses, and a whole bunch more. It's actually a really amazing tool that gives you 24/7 access to your clients or your NVR right from your phone. It's perfect for on-the-go support and for quick adjustments. So enough digressing, let's get straight into it. And you're going to find the analytics setup under the alerts menu. So let's go click there. And we're going to start with line crossing analytics. Once you tap on it, it's going to give you a list of all the cameras connected to your NVR. All you need to do is find the camera you want to enable the rule, switch it on, and from there, you can begin setting the parameters by tapping on the line number and start drawing. Sorry, excuse me 1 second. Apologies for that. So once you begin, the app will actually automatically switch to landscape mode. This is in order to give you the largest possible surface area for drawing your analytic parameters. In order to add a line, just tap the add button on the right-hand panel. Also located on the right hand panel is the directional detection settings, where you can choose which direction you want the line to detect any movement. If you want to add more lines, you can go to the left panel and select the next line number and then tap add. With your finger, you can adjust each line as needed, and of course you can update the direction or detection direction for each line as well. Reminder, you can do up to 4 lines per line crossing analytic rule, so on the application we obviously give you that ability as well. Once you finish setting your line parameters, you can just tap save and go back to exit the menu to continue setting up your analytic rules. So for those of you already familiar with our NVR interface, I want you to try and notice the similarities in the setup here. It's almost identical, just optimized for the mobile. So for example, duration, which is also found on the NVR, lets you define how long the event should last. You also got the schedule settings, which obviously lets you choose when you want the analytic to be active. You've also got detection objects, so you can toggle each object on and off for human, for and two-wheel vehicles, and even adjust the sensitivity. So this is very super handy for very quick remote support as well. And of course, you can select your triggers, and we give you the same options from the NVR. So I actually want you to picture this. You're out for dinner with your family and you're finally relaxing when your phone rings. It's one of your top clients and they're not happy. The front door camera is picking up every passerby, sending constant alerts, and they need to be sorted out immediately. But instead of rushing off to site and grabbing your laptop and irritating your wife because now you have to leave dinner, you simply pick up your phone, open up the Cam2 app. In less than a minute, you can tweak the detection line or adjust the sensitivities, literally from the table where you're sitting. So from a client's perspective, you basically Superman, and from your family perspective, you've haven't peed off your wife. So it's a very handy tool. As for sterile area, the setup is exactly the same. The only difference is how you actually draw the detection zone. So like the line crossing area rule, you can add each rule, or sorry, you can add up to 4 areas. And also, you can, just like the line crossing rule, you can add additional areas by selecting the number on the left-hand panel, followed by add, then adjust your finger when necessary. And of course, you've got the same configuration parameters as line crossing. So you can set the duration, the schedule, the detection object, as well as your trigger action as well. So just a heads up, there is a small bug that we have identified, and it's important that you are aware of it in case it does come up. Um, it only affects line crossing, specifically the first of the 4 available lines that you have. If you place line 1 and then try and actually move it, the system gets stuck in what I call, or I like to call, like a never-ending roll of death when you try and save. So if you go and you add the first line and you try and maneuver it or change it, and then you hit save, you're going to get a screen where it's going to be constantly loading and never-ending roll of death, what I like to call. So this is a bug that we've identified. It's not going to be fixed with this version that's going to be released upcoming, but it's already scheduled to be resolved in the next release. But still, it's important to be familiar with how this feature works in the app, and also to be aware of this bug since someone might ask you about it. All right, the next feature is actually a game changer for the intercom system. So as you know, Provision-ISR's intercoms devices offer powerful access control features such as face recognition, PIN code, and RFID access. And now managing the database is even easier than ever. With the Cam2 application, you can manage access on the go, just as if you were connected directly to the intercom's web interface. This is perfect for quick changes in the field, making it ideal for property managers, installers, and security teams, because any changes that you make through the application are applied instantly to the intercom system via the Provision-ISR cloud. So there's zero delays, there's no syncing issues whatsoever. This actually translates to you guys saving time, administrative overhead, to improve your response to new user requests or tenant updates or any type of uh, database through the intercom system. In fact, the Cam2 app mirrors the intercom interface, delivering a very smooth and intuitive experience. And I would like to show you with this quick video. So once the intercom has been linked to your Cam2 user account, you can tap on the 3 dots menu, and right there you're going to see the face database section conveniently placed over there, right there in the center. Click on it, and then to add a new user, just tap on the plus button. If you're already familiar with the Intercom's web interface or the VMS platform, you'll notice that all the same options are now available directly on our application. You can begin by defining a user type, allow list, block list, administrator, etc. Then you can easily capture the face by either taking a photo on the spot, or you can actually upload one from your phone's gallery as well. Please excuse me, we were in lockdown a few weeks ago. That's why it looks like that. Um, After that, you fill in the person's name as a mandatory field, And then below you'll see age, mobile, floor number. That's all optional. If you want to fill in that information, you're more than welcome to fill that in. And then a very important part of any database management is the authentication method or unlocking mode. So you can choose from face recognition only, card only, password only. You've got a number of dual authentication methods, or you can also allow any of the above for added flexibility, i.e. face or card or PIN code. If you do want to open with access cards, you can actually enter the access card number, and you're actually not limited to one. You can actually assign multiple cards to a single user. And if you want to provide a PIN code to a user, you can simply input the PIN code into the relevant information, into the relevant field. And since Provision-ISR's intercoms feature to unlock relays, you can choose which relays the user can control. So for example, you might want them to unlock only relay 1 and not have access to relay 2. You can also set the validity period, perfect for temporary access, which is very quick and easy to configure, as you can see. And once you've completed, just tap on complete at the bottom, and the user will be added to the database immediately. As your database grows, the app provides you actually handy filtering tools to help you manage users' efficiency. And if you ever need to remove somebody, just simply locate their record, swipe to the left, and tap delete, and they will be removed. It's done. So with everything managed directly now from the application, we make access control even smarter, faster, and easier than ever before. So it's quite an exciting update. So another exciting update that's just been released for our thermal cameras is the Cam2 app. I'm not sure if you're aware, but all our thermal cameras come equipped with advanced fire detection analytics. So now, thanks to firmware version 1.16.2, you can search for the fire detection events directly within the application. This means faster incident investigations for quicker access to relevant footage. And once you're in remote playback, you can obviously download and share video clips instantly, all from the convenience of your mobile device. I do have an additional feature relating to the thermal camera, which I will tell you a bit more later on in the presentation. But for now, let's move on. This feature, or the next feature, is all about our integration with DSC and Visonic alarm systems. So if you're not familiar with it yet, Provision-ISR has fully integrated these systems into the Cam2 app, giving users one app to control both the CCTV and alarm functions. One of the other significant benefits is that you can bind alarm zones to camera channels. That way, sorry, the noise is a bit loud. This way, when the alarm is triggered, users can get a notification in the Cam2 app, along with a video clip showcasing what has actually caused the event. And now we've taken it a step further. You can now arm and disarm alarm partitions directly from the Cam2 app, which gives you a lot more control from one simple interface. So for those of you unfamiliar with alarm partitions, I'll just explain it quickly. Alarm partitions let you divide a security system into separate areas that can be armed or disarmed independently. I want you to imagine like a factory setting with you've got offices and warehouses and loading docks. With partitions, the night shift can arm the office while keeping like the warehouse disarmed for ongoing work. So basically each area acts like its own mini alarm system, which gives you a lot more control and flexibility over your security. So let's take a look at the video interface so we can show you exactly how this works. So you're going to begin by signing into your alarm panel if you're not signed in already. Once you've logged in, you'll see the master control option for arming and disarming. So from here, you can either arm or disarm all partitions at once, or if you actually tap on the arrow, you'll be able to view a list of all individual partitions that have been programmed into the system. So if you have multiple partitions like I do here, you can actually choose to arm and disarm them individually, obviously depending on your needs. Naturally, you can opt to receive a notification when arming state changes. And if, for example, only some of the partitions are actually armed, the system will show the overall status as mixed, so you know not everything is armed in the same state. So clearly, partitioning arming is a great addition to already amazing collaboration. The next feature applies to standalone IP cameras connected directly to the application. In previous firmware versions, if a camera was connected directly to the app and had an SD card inserted, you could only format it directly from the app. That was your only option, all right? Now, with firmware version 1.16.2, we've taken it a step further. We've added two new functions that you can also control with the application. So there's FIFO, don't get confused with FAFO. There's FIFO, which is first in, first out. This lets you set the SD card to automatically override the oldest recordings once it's full. And we've also added recording schedule control. So now you can define when the camera should record to the SD card right from the application. I want to just show you guys how this all works and looks like on the application. And just to clarify again, the IP camera must be connected directly to the Cam2 app, not through an NVR, and an SD card must be inserted in the camera to use the features that I'm about to show you right now. So head over to the server list and locate the camera, and then open up the camera settings where you're going to find the SD card menu. From here, you can set up a recording schedule, or you can disable it entirely if you wanted to. The scheduling interface is actually quite similar to what you would find on the NVR and the VMS. Actually, I find it a lot easier to manage the schedule directly on the application, to be honest. If you go back to the previous menu, this is where you can find the FIFO. We can enable and disable the first in, first out, which obviously controls whether the camera overrides the oldest footage automatically when the SD card is full. And then for those who haven't seen it before, this is also where you can format the SD card, just like in the previous firmware versions. So two great additions to the SD card functionality within the application. The next feature is actually a bug fix. It's a bug fix announcement related to the metadata analytic. Just a quick reminder, our metadata AI analytic identifies object attributes for people, two-wheel and four-wheel vehicles. Once these attributes are identified, such as female, blue, upper clothing, glasses, this information gets stored. So it's actually designed as a post-event search tool, allowing you to filter events based on specific attributes. This makes searching much faster than traditional methods. So for example, you can go and search for a female wearing blue, upper clothing, and wearing glasses. That said, you're actually not supposed to receive push notifications for this type of analytic. So in earlier versions, in previous versions, the Cam2 app would send a notification every time an object was detected via metadata analytics. This was actually a bug, and there was no way to disable it. So now, with firmware version 1.16.2, this issue has been finally fixed, and you'll no longer get a push notification for metadata object detection, which is exactly the way it's supposed to work. Got a few more features left, so just bear with me. So this feature applies to when devices are added to the Cam2 app using an IP address or URL. So in previous versions, if you made a mistake with either the IP address or port number, there was no way to actually edit it after you saved the device's credentials. So in theory, the device would actually not go online because incorrect information has been inputted. The only way to fix the issue before was to actually delete the device completely and then re-add it again from scratch. So with this version we're about to release, it's obviously been improved. The IP address and port fields are now editable, so you can easily correct mistakes without needing to remove and re-add the device. So here's an example of me inputting the device credentials incorrectly and the device doesn't come online. So instead of deleting it and starting from scratch, I can go and edit it. And now this is the fields that are editable. In this example, I made a mistake with the port number, and all I need to do is go and edit and correct the port number instead of deleting the device entirely. And then once I hit save, within a few seconds, the device comes back online. This feature is for those who bind NVRs to the Cam2 app using the security code. So we have an improved unshare interface. The Cam2 app now supports the select all camera batch unsharing of bound devices. So in other words, you can now quickly remove multiple cameras from shared access in just a few taps. I want to quickly show you how this is done. So in this scenario, let's say you've already got a bound NVR with a security code and you've shared it with another user. Now imagine you have an employee that you've had to fire, let go, and no longer requires access to the system. So to handle this, we simply go into the share management section located within the server list. So you click on the three dots located on the top right. Okay, and then click on sharing. Click on sharing permissions. And from there, you're going to see a list of all the users and the devices that have been shared. So let's say the former employee's name is Dudi. You can go in and edit his permissions and remove access. And this is where it gets a whole lot easier than before. So previously, you actually had to select each channel one by one, which could be time consuming if you consider a large 128 channel NVR machine. So now there's a select all button. So just with a few taps, you can actually remove access to the entire system very quickly and efficiently. So that's quite a nice, handy improvement. Okay, so the next two features or 2 points are about features that are not available just yet. I call them future features, but it's important for you to be aware of what's coming. So with the upcoming release of the IPC firmware version 5.3.0, we're going to introduce a major update for both our thermal and fisheye cameras working with the Cam2 application. So once this IPC version has been released, you'll be able to directly connect these cameras to the Cam2 app using our P2P cloud service without needing an NVR in between. So this obviously opens up a whole bunch of new possibilities for simpler, more flexible installations, especially in projects where you don't want or need a recorder on site. While this feature isn't active yet, it is still coming. It's definitely one to keep on your radar. And the last feature I want to cover today, also a future feature, is starting from NVR firmware version 1.4.13. So it's the next version that we're going to release very soon, is illegal access support. Okay, so what is it exactly? As most of you know by now, Provision-ISR takes security very seriously. So one of our built-in protections against unauthorized login attempts is if someone tries to log in to the NVR, whether through a web interface or locally, and they enter the password incorrectly 5 times, the system actually automatically locks access for a set period of time. And this is what we define as illegal access. All right. So with the latest Cam2 app firmware, as well as the future NVR firmware 1.4.13, you now will be able to receive a real-time push notification on your phone whenever this happens. So we're going to keep you always in the loop no matter where you are. In fact, this is all part of our brute force protection mechanism, which after 5 consecutive failed login attempts, the system not only locks access, but enforces longer and longer delays after each additional failed attempt. And with every lockout event, you're going to get an illegal access notification straight to the Cam2 application. which will obviously keep you informed and helping you react quickly if something suspicious is going on. And just for clarification, the notification will be received from NVR firmware version 1.4.13, but the brute force mechanism has been in place for a very long time. So with that, that is the end of the release. I would like to thank you all for your time and for listening. If you do have any questions, please write them in the chat or open up your microphone. We'll gladly